Morning, folks. Welcome to Four Paws Lane in West Gloucester. It's Cape Ann Animalade for a special holiday edition of Cape Ann Today Live. Good morning, folks. I'm Corey. Alongside, as always, Heather. How are you, Heather?
I'm well. I couldn't be happier here at Cuteness Central.
Oh, my goodness.
The kittens are everywhere, and there's some puppy dogs out there, too. So we're going to have a good time.
Yeah, it's going to be all things Cape Ann Animalade today as we celebrate the holiday season. And we want to also emphasize Yearend Giving, too. And you can help out the animal shelter by reaching capeannanimalade.org. We're going to be showing all sorts of adoptable puppies and kittens for today, and cats and dogs. I think some adults as well. But you notice we have some special guests behind us. Heather's already
Unbelievably cute little tabbies, and tabby in white, I don't know what that is, and a pale tabby. They are the cutest little kittens, and I hope the camera can see them. Oh, this one is just like trouble.
Yeah, and Heather already texted her husband that there may be.
Yeah, but there are a bunch of us. We have a special guest. We can announce that person later, but they are already looking at this tabby too. So
No
we're
kidding.
kind of fine. Yeah.
Jeez. And well, the last time we did a show here, Heather,
I got a kitten.
you
Yes,
little
I did.
Bean went home with you.
Bean is a big cat now, and Bean would love this cat. But I'm not feeling as hungry as starved for kittenness because Bean is pretty special.
Well, we'll get back to us in about 50 minutes and we'll see how you're doing. So, all right. So without further ado, let's get going. So you notice we were sort of in the back part of this room the last time we did a show here, but now it is a care center with a full-time veterinarian on staff, and he is Dr. Alex Beckett. He joins us. How are you, Doc?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, thanks for being with us.
Thanks.
It's really nice to have you. And so cool that you have this room back there now.
It's really, really exciting. You know, we've been able to do really good medical care for these animals for years and years, and all the time that I've been working here and well before. But with the donations and the giving of that provided the veterinary center, it's really been able to give us the opportunity to provide medical care in-house right away. We don't have to wait for appointments on outside veterinary hospitals, and we don't have to burden them with our needs because they're really busy right now too.
So tell us about everything that's offered in this little room to Cape Ann Animalade.
Yeah.
Via you.
So we do pretty much everything that a regular veterinary office would do. We do physical exams, we can do surgery, spay-neuter surgeries, vaccinations, preventative medicine. We can treat certain amounts of conditions and wounds. I have a little blood analyzer machine, some capabilities to do ultrasound, all of those kinds of things. So it's a pretty consistent sort of full setup.
So everything's done in-house?
As much as we can. Certain things like our little friend Joey here, he had a little heart murmur, which is an abnormal sound in the heart, and we were able to reach out to a local cardiologist to get him an echocardiogram to make sure that we weren't running into any problems and he was still going to be able to have a good life.
Which one's Joey?
He's the little tabby guy that was running around earlier, but now he's taking a nap.
Okay. So I'm kind of curious. We've all been reading in the news about the animals coming up from Kentucky. So disaster in the country.
Yeah.
And Cape Ann Animalade is known for getting animals from Puerto Rico and Texas. So what are you looking at when you see these animals arrive, these rescue animals? What kind of states of wellness are they in?
On the whole, they're in a good state of wellness, I would say. You know, we work with a lot of really great rescue groups in Texas, Georgia, Puerto Rico, Turks and Caicos, lots of different places. And they do the preliminary work for us, which is really, really great. They have to be healthy enough for transport, which is a certain standard of health care. And then when they get here, I really look for any sort of health problems that I would normally look for in any other animal locally or from just a couple of states over. Usually, the main concerns are snotty noses and diarrhea, and so you
Just
know,
like us.
I tell folks this is a bit like daycare. Somebody's going to come home with a snotty nose, but you know, the nice thing is that the process is we get these animals in, they go into a quarantine area for 48 hours. At the end of that quarantine, I do a physical exam on them and make sure they're healthy, and then they can be moved into the general population of the shelter.
Nice. So when people are supporting Cape Ann Animalade, how does that directly help what goes on?
It's basically a one-to-one ratio these days. You know, the funding that we get for the veterinary department enables us to not have to reach out for those kinds of services and products to other veterinarians, and so we can do everything in-house, and so that Generosity has enabled us to put in an operating table, an anesthesia machine, like I said, a blood analyzer. All of these folks started coming out of the woodwork, and the funding is really right now, the need for funding is to continue the work that we're doing and keep it up.
Yeah. What are the numbers like for you, Dr. Beckett? I mean, because the turnover here is amazing.
Right.
I do between 30, 35 surgeries a week, and then I'll see anywhere. It depends. The transports, disaster areas affect the number of transport that we're able to get. If it's too hot or too cold, we can't get animals in from far away places. But
Because they can't be transported through the bad weather?
correct.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you have to have a certain set of environmental standards to be able to transport these animals safely. It can't be too hot or too cold. And but the numbers really depend. Some weeks I'm doing 150 physical exams on top of the day-to-day routine care. I have a wonderful staff that helps me out here, both in the vet clinic and in the animal care workers up in the kennel.
Wow. So, Dr. Beckett, what led you to veterinary medicine, and why do you love what you do? Because you can tell.
I can't think of anything else I can do. I was always the child that brought home frogs and snakes in his pockets, much to my mother's horror. And so I started cleaning kennels when I was about 16 years old at a local vet practice in Ohio, where I grew up for a time, and I've done the same thing ever since. I was just cleaning a kennel this morning. It's been about 26 years.
Yeah.
So do you ever take anything home? Anyone home?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. No, my wife is a veterinary technician, which is a bit like a veterinary nurse.
Yeah.
And certified nurse. And she and I have, we foster some cats and dogs occasionally that are sick that need medical care while they're in foster. And so we're able to provide that, and we've had a couple of what's called a foster failure, where you just keep the cat or the dog.
Yeah, that's what we have. We've always been foster failure.
Yeah. No,
It's a great phrase.
Yep. Our COVID foster failure was this little cat, Mikey, who came in who had half of his bottom jaw missing for some reason. He was about 6 weeks old, and we just patched him up, and now he is a 12-pound behemoth, and he's doing great. It's really fun.
That's great.
That's a
Okay,
great
we
story.
know you have to go. You have a special appointment of your
Thank you
own
so
coming up
much.
shortly. So if you just have any final word for the community as we sort of in the midst of the holidays giving season.
I want to thank the community for the tremendous support. It's been absolutely wonderful. We're able to do so much more for these animals right now because of that support and because of that generosity. And I want to keep it going. This is my full-time job now. I don't work anywhere else in any other practice, and it's a real treat to be able to do this work and have the community support for that. So that's my big thanks.
Well said.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time, Dr. Alex
Yeah.
Beckett.
Thank you
of
so
Cape Ann
much.
Adelaide. Thank you. Have a
you.
great holiday
Yeah.
season.
Thank you.
Get boosted.
Thank you. Nice.
Dr. Beckett is off to get boosted.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah.
So, an appointment of his own.
And it is amazing how many animals actually do funnel through Cape
It's
Ann Adelaide.
incredible.
You get their monthly newsletter and they give you the totals. It's astonishing.
Yeah, and I think this community, we always talk about how supportive it is, but it's particularly supportive of its animals also.
Yeah.
Right? It's a very loving community for animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heather, we have another special guest today.
We do, yeah.
We do.
I know.
So-
And I think this person's shopping for an animal.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
We'll find out soon enough. Okay, Mayor-elect Greg Berger, come in and have a seat. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're almost becoming a bit of a regular here on Cape Ann today now. Yeah.
Well, it's good to be here. I'm just a stone's throw away, my house, so it's funny because I watched this place. We used to have just woods behind us, other than the cemetery. And then the first night this place was open, there were these three or four big spotlights out there, and I thought it was a UFO. And I was like, what? Oh, it's the Animal Aid.
Oh, so you
it's-
can actually see it from your house, Cape Ann
Literally.
Adelaide. Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
symbolic. I
Yeah.
think that's good. Because these are your new constituents.
That's right.
These puppies and kittens, right?
Oh, yeah, and
Right?
let's see,
That
my-
one
my
up
wife
there?
knows-
As soon as you walked in, you and your wife both started eyeballing the kittens
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, we had lost our orange cat within the last, 16, 17 months, and after 16 or 17 years with us. So it's Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, boy.
So there are, just to keep the inventory straight, there are 2 yellow tabbies up
Yeah.
there and 1 pale yellow tabby.
Yes.
And then 1 white and yellow kind of
All
mix.
right, so we'll have a tough choice.
Yeah, well, I think you do have a choice, unless people are racing to get a tabby here. And they might.
It's
Well,
beautiful.
Come on down. There's a lot of kittens here.
Yeah, there's a lot there. I guess there's a lot upstairs too. So, okay, Greg, so you're in the midst of the transition now, right before you're sworn in on January 1st. How is the transition going, and how is it working with your team?
Oh, great. I mean, we've got an excellent team. People, some who had volunteered and helping out for the campaign, and others who came along after to specifically help on the transition. You know, Harry Hoaglander, who's long time been involved in, God, I don't know, 25 campaigns, he said. He used to work for John Tierney. Jim McKenna used to be John Bell's CAO. Who else? We have Donna Leet, who was the HR director. Linda Vaughn, who is a former guidance counselor, head of guidance at Gloucester and Rockport Highs. So she's great at organization. Donna Crocker, who's been helping on, she was on both teams. Just to make sure I'm not missing anybody, because if I do, I'll be in the doghouse. No pun intended. But these,
You are in the doghouse.
but they've been putting in a lot of time helping me with advice, doing the legwork, getting things done for us. And, you know, we're ready to hit the ground running on January 3rd, technically, for the first work day.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, big news in the Gloucester Times today.
Yes.
Do you want to make the announcement here also?
Sure. I have appointed Jill Cahill to be my CAO. So Jill's been with the city for about 4.5 years. She's currently the Community Development Director. I met her over the summer, got to know her more since they gave me office space at Pond Road. And talking to people from currently in the city, city government, and people who were in city government, it became pretty obvious that she is the right person for this job, and I'm so happy that she accepted the job.
And so, for people who don't know, what roles do the CAOs?
Well, I guess one way to an analogy is it's the chief of staff, you know, for lack of a better phrase. You know, they're the interface between the managers and the mayor's office, and you know, we'll probably redefine the role because you know I've been out of city government for 6 years. She's been in there for the last 4.5 years, so help fill that void that I've been away. And she knows her stuff. I mean, she used to work for the current Senate president. She worked for Pathways for Children. So she's got a pretty a varied work experience and the educational requirements for this job. So I feel really confident that we're going to be off to a great start.
Yeah, she's kind of a powerhouse. She worked for Karen Spilka, as
Yes.
you just said, who's now the Senate president, and an organization of women legislators.
Yes.
So that's an important role, and as you said, Pathways for Children. And there was a time in this city when apparently the CAO had all the power, and the mayor was not anymore, but the mayor, there was a time when...
Before this current charter, which I think, because my father was on the Charter Commission back in '75,
70s, yeah.
and I think Leo Alpa was our first mayor under this current form of government. So we haven't had a whole lot of mayors since then. But we used to have a city manager position. And
Right.
so the council, I believe, was, I don't know, 7 members, mostly, I think they were all at large. Whoever got the most votes was the mayor, you know, just to be the ribbon cutter and the one that signs papers. But the city manager was the one who ran the city. They were appointed, hired, and fired by the city council, but they were not an elected position.
And there's still a very legitimate sort of assumption that the CAO will be the expert.
Right.
And you are the leader, but when you need expert advice in legislating and all the details and nuts and
Yes.
bolts of that, right?
Yeah, and that's one thing that Jill's quoted in the press release we put out as saying is that, you know, I acknowledge I'm not going to be the expert in the room. And I said this for the campaign, that I'm smart enough to know I'm not smart enough to know everything, you know, and so I want to empower the managers to do their job with oversight but not interference. And I depend on their expertise. You know, jack of all trades, expert of nothing. You know, that's these guys and gals day to day. That's their profession. They know whether it's DPW or whether it's human resources or the building department. You know, just pick a department. They know it. So it's not my place to come in and tell them how to run it. You know, how to
Exactly.
do the job.
Yeah.
You know, but we're going to do what we can to make it run everything citywide run more efficiently, more collaboratively, more transparently.
What other possible appointees, positions are you looking to fill?
Well, community development, because you know Jill's going to be moving over to CAO, so that's going to be the big one right now.
How about Director of Public Health?
Director, well, the Board of Health, so that's, people have asked me about this. So the Board of Health, once they're appointed by a mayor, I think that's pretty much the end of the mayor's and the city's function, the city government's function. They report directly to the Department of Public Health, so that's because they want to keep politics out of it. So that they're meeting, I believe on December 2nd, the Board of Health voted to make Max Shank, who was the interim, the director, full-time director. So that's currently, and I believe they're currently searching for an assistant director, which is Max's former job.
So I want to know what are you up to for the holidays? I mean, we know you're busy, but you also have to bounce around all over the place too.
Yeah, I've got lots of stuff going on. I've got to run to a meeting right after this for the Focus on Education breakfast for the chamber. But yeah, there's a lot of. I've been doing the rounds to all the city offices, talking to as many of the staff as I can. I think I've got to most of the managers. I've got a couple more appointments lined up over the next few days and into next week. But just trying to reintroduce myself to some of those who were here when I was on the council and introduce myself to some who've come along since. And it's, the response has been pretty positive. Everybody wants to make the city a better place. The politics are behind us. The race is over. Whether or not they supported me is irrelevant. I said it during the campaign, and I was sincere. If someone didn't support me, and I know they didn't support me, it doesn't matter. We'll reset the clock, and we're going to go this direction. Rearview mirror, forget about it.
Well, I do want to return to public health just
Sure.
briefly because it is on everyone's minds.
Yeah.
So that, Omicron is making transmission rates spike and
Right.
COVID rates. So what are your thoughts about that?
Well, it's a fact. There are some out there who still think COVID is, just a fallacy, that Bill Gates has put in silicon chips into the vaccine. But realistically, vaccines are effective. Then they say, well, people with vaccines are getting sick too. It's like, well, but they're not dying at the rates that they would if they weren't vaccinated. So I urge everybody to get your vaccine. If you've been vaccinated with the 2 shots or the one for Johnson & Johnson, get your booster shot. Be vigilant, wear a mask when you can. People who don't want to wear a mask, I suppose that's their right, but you have to consider those masks aren't to protect you, they protect the others around you. And N95 protects you. But the standard mask, like, the one we all have, the little cheapo ones, those are to keep your stuff from going in other people's lungs. So be respectful, simple, be respectful. And if you go into a store or other place that requires masks, don't give them a hard time. These people who are trying to make a living don't need to have you in their face. Go somewhere else. It's that simple.
And we kind of don't know where this one's going. That's what everyone's saying. So where are you getting advice in terms of what to do with the city when these critical decisions start to get made? I know the Board of Health just decided to not mandate masks in public buildings. But what kind of, I'm not asking for answers, but where are you looking for advice?
Well, right now, I'm just a private citizen watching from the sidelines. I watched the Board of Health meeting the other night. I was kind of surprised with the result, but there was some good discussion among the members. There was some interesting comments from the chat on the other side of the meeting. I won't go into that. So I'll be looking for guidance from the Board of Health, but also from the state. The governor has declined to make any changes. I believe there was a Zoom meeting recently with some other experts at the state level looking to do some changes. So as the mayor, I want to be focused on, what are the professionals who know what they're talking about. It's not going to be conspiracy theorists in my book. It's not going to be, the scientists on Facebook telling us what the facts and fiction are. We have to go with the science that's been proven, And this is changing. I mean, what we're facing today is different than it was last January. But the fact is, it's a deadly disease, and we have to be vigilant and be respectful of. Sorry
Kittens.
to interrupt. So, it's trying to lighten a serious conversation.
Exactly.
But I believe in the science, and I'm going to listen to the experts and do what we have to do. And I think the city has started to post the numbers, more regularly. We need to get back to having regular reverse 911 calls to keep people up to date with what's going on. And again, it's serious business, and the consequences can be deadly.
Can I lighten things up, Heather?
Yeah, please.
So, I want to know, Greg, what does your family do for Christmas? And I want to know, like, what's on the table Christmas Eve or Christmas
Just
Day?
why you have a Christmas sweater on and I have a black
Well,
dress.
tis the season. You
Yeah,
know?
she's. Well, we typically have. We have my immediate family, my wife, my daughter, and my daughter's. Although daughter's family goes off to her in-laws, but they come over after. It's me and a couple of vegans, basically.
Oh, yeah?
So, we'll probably have maybe a small turkey or a duck, which is my favorite. Sorry, a small chicken or a duck. We usually don't get a big turkey because, I don't want to be eating leftovers for the next 6 months. But it's, pretty low-key affair. Then we do the visits around to the other family.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
No octopus or anything like that?
Yeah, I love octopus, but I used to love eating
But the
it.
vegans in your family maybe
Yeah,
have a hard time.
but I no longer eat octopus because I realize they're an intelligent creature, and
You're
and
a
it's
smart
kind
man.
of I feel guilty doing that. So, but I do. It's very tasty.
I have the same problem,
Yeah.
the exact same conflict. It's really hard, but they are smart.
They are right. I mean,
And- yeah.
you've seen them on these nature shows when they're unwinding a jar lid and getting, so it's like I don't think I
Oh
should
my
be
God!
eating
What
something
is
like
it?
that.
Anyone know that the documentary on Netflix?
Oh,
The
Yeah,
guy that
my-
befriends
my-
the.
my friend, the
My friend,
cried.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
I know.
that's pretty much what put me over the edge.
Yeah,
to
that's-
say, okay, no more.
What? Yeah, watch the Mushroom Doc instead.
And make mushroom stew.
Yeah. So, Greg, well, what else should we be looking forward to when the new team comes in? What you've talked about what you campaigned on your ideals, and now looking forward to again dealing through the pandemic.
Yeah.
Kids are still in school right now. We don't know how things are going to change
Yeah.
within a couple months. So, but your vision for 2022.
Well,
essentially.
as far as governing, like I said, my first goal was to.
It's just so funny.
Looking at
Crazy.
you.
My first goal was to, as I said before, bring back a sense of professionalism and respect. That I want to be setting the tone. I'd be setting the tone, and the expectation is that the managers, middle managers, rank and file, will come around to the same way of thinking. So it's reflected to what goes out to our customer, which is the resident. So that's by virtue of the election. That's already in process. The biggest nut we have to crack going forward is going to be how we deal with the federal money, the opera money that's already been approved, the infrastructure money which already has been approved, whether or not we get this Build Back Better plan approved down in Washington with Senator Manchin holding things up is still to be determined. But we still have two huge pools of money that we need to figure out how we're going to spend it. I think it's 2024, you have to identify how you're going to spend it, and by 2026, spend it. That's a lot. It's $23 million already for just opera. We got to figure out how to spend it. It might not be hard to do, but I was on a Zoom call with other mayors, new mayors, with Senator Warren. She was saying what you can do with this new money is pull things out of your budget with your tax money, your revenue, and plug it with the infrastructure money. They can use that other money for other things that
that's
can
good
really
to
be helpful.
know.
So, but the other thing staring us, we're down looking at the barrel of a gun of the secondary treatment plant for the sewage over on Essex Ave.
Yep.
It's talked about Leo Alpa, starting with Alpa right through to Sapathia. We've had mayors who have been able to kick the can down the road because of the waivers from the federal government. But it's kind of the buck stops here with me. I get to be the lucky guy that has to find a solution to it. But we've got to. I mean, it's
The crowd's going wild.
yes.
I love it.
Fix that plan, fix that plan. And I've heard that there's like a $60 million ticket on that.
I heard 80 to 100, but I like
okay.
yours better.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just construction costs alone are just crazy. The good thing from talking to Mike Hale, the DPW director, we do have a spot on site, so it's not like we have to go figure out where we're going to build it. We have somewhere we can build it. It's just trying to figure out if some of this money from the federal government will cover it, if there are other opportunities through grants or directly through the EPA or other outlets. Because we can't just plug it onto the ratepayer, which is usually when there's work done to the water or sewer facilities. It's why the rates go up. I mean, think of how we're going to distribute $100 million among the ratepayer. It's just not going to.
Right.
We can't be paying $400 for a glass of water. Just
I have one last question, and I don't remember. Isn't it possible for municipalities to hire consultants to help manage the ARPA money, this money coming in? And have we done that?
No, we have not.
Okay.
And that's another thing I talked about during the campaign is we actually lost an employee from the community development who went to Beverly to be their opera director. So we should, one of the first things I'm going to do, I've got a lot of first things, but one of them is to get the handle on the opera money. And one is to hire, at least on a temporary basis, an opera czar who can oversee. There's a lot of strings attached. When Uncle Sam says, here's some money, there are a lot of strings attached. So we have to make sure we have somebody in place who's going to make sure all those moving parts are moving correctly. And then we need to empower our boards and commissions to look at how ARPA can impact them and find the best ways that we can plug in the money. And then we've got those other two pools, as I mentioned, the infrastructure and hopefully Build Back Better. So we need to be ready how to spend it and, to the best, to benefit the city in the most way, to help the most people. How do I say this? Do the most good for the most people. That's how I plan on spending money. That's how I plan on governing.
It's a good mission.
Yeah. So lastly, Greg, a holiday message for the citizens of Gloucester?
Be safe. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody. If you'd like a kitten or a puppy or other dogs or cats, stop on down. Go online, make a donation. I assume they have online donations.
They do, yeah.
Mail your
KPNLA.org.
checks. You get all the information you need. I'm sure you'll give the address and everything. And try to help this organization find homes for these guys. The star of the show today.
I know, right?
We'll see. There might be another Verga.
Jeez.
We'll have to see.
We'll see how quick I can get my wife out of here before she...
Greg, we appreciate your time. Thanks for stopping in today.
Thank you.
Have a happy holiday season.
Yes.
And we will see you on Inauguration Day.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor-elect Greg Verga, live from Cape Ann Animal Aid. It's a pleasant surprise.
Right? I know,
Yeah.
exactly. And so nice of him and his wife to come down.
You're so getting a cat.
Yeah, they are totally. Yeah, I know. And that makes me happy because it's one I can't get. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Are we going to talk to
Suniva, you want to come
Suniva?
join us?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Suniva Buck is the executive director here at Cape Ann Animal Aid and a longtime friend of mine, going way back to the West Parish school days.
That's
yeah?
went to West Parish together?
Oh,
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's,
Long time
Small
ago.
world.
I
Small
love these
town.
things.
Yeah. Well, it's great
right.
to see you again.
Good to see you as well.
Yeah.
Both of you,
Yes,
actually.
you too, Sunita.
Our alumni. Right?
Exactly.
Adoption alumni.
I feel that way. I feel it.
Gee, Suniva, the last time we chatted with you for Cape Ann Today, you were giving us the walkthrough and all
Yeah.
these restrictions were in place and it was a pretty
Right.
precarious
Yeah.
time. So how has the shelter moved out of that? And I hope we're not backsliding at all, but how have you been navigating through that, the pandemic essentially?
Yeah, sure. So, right, the last time we spoke, we were all masked up and we weren't having the public in, and it was sort of very structured, and we were doing most of, I think, all of our adoptions at that time virtually. And we have now sort of moved beyond that. We have opened to the public hours. Folks are welcome to come in and visit with our animals. We still have an online option for folks that aren't comfortable with that and who would prefer to do a virtual meeting with a pet. We're able to accommodate that as well as in person. We're one of the few shelters in the area that are actually allowing visitors in, not on a by appointment only basis. So when we're open, visitors are encouraged to go upstairs, spend a little bit of time with the animals. We do limit that time so that we can accommodate sort of the demand. We have a lot of folks that want to come in and see our animals and see our organization. Our adoption process, our applications are now online like they were during the height of COVID, and we've kept that process because it's worked really well. It also allows folks to fill out an application from home, get approved, and then set up an appointment to come in. So we're able to kind of work with different people's comfort level with that. And we are, again, like I said, we are limiting the number of people we have upstairs in our animal areas just for COVID safety, as well as so we can provide proper customer service to those folks when they are there, as well as provide proper care for all of these guys, because they are very cute, but they are very hands-on in terms of
You can
upkeep
tell,
with
yeah.
them. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're begging for for just attention.
Yeah, we joked earlier and said, well, let's hope everybody does their bathroom duties early, and thank goodness it's not smell-o-vision.
Yeah.
So,
It was really cool because they were all, when we started to set up this morning, they were going bananas. And then they all went to sleep at the same time just before we went on live. It was
Yeah.
so cute. And now they're starting to look at this one.
Well, and I tell
my
folks that, I know the face hanging over. I tell
So
folks
cute.
that too when they come to visit, because sometimes they'll come in and they'll say, oh, well, I think I'm interested in this one because they're so calm, right? And I say, well, there could have been lots of visitors earlier, and maybe
Yeah.
their playtime is earlier in the day, so you have to factor a little bit of that in.
So, Sunniva, how many adoptions did you do during 2020 and 21? Like, what did that look like?
So this year, so far, we've done over 1,500 adoptions.
And I accounted for 2 of those, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in 2020, we did less than that. We did about 1,100. But we still did a significant amount of placement using that virtual piece. We really, we shut down in terms of shutdown, like for a very small window. We just found that the need for the homeless pets and for people wanting pets was enough, and we were able to kind of balance our staffing, our space. We had separate teams, and we were able to make that work throughout 2020 when a lot of businesses weren't open at all.
Yeah.
And just for reference, what's a normal, not COVID year? How many adoptions do you do?
Anywhere between 12 and 1,500.
Oh, so this
Yeah.
was really, people did not hold back.
No, they didn't at all.
They
And
needed
this,
love.
Yeah, this year has been, it's felt very busy this year, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Sunniva, let's talk about the importance of year-end giving.
Yes. So year-end giving is extremely important to us. I mean, we rely on donations. That's how we do the work that we do. And donations are what allow us to keep the lights on, keep their cages clean, keep their bellies full, give them toys. It allows us to have a variety of enrichment, work with trainers, do all of our vetting here, which is
This is amazing. You must be so proud of
huge project.
it.
We are just so thrilled. I mean,
Yeah.
COVID really sort of pushed us to do this because there was such limited access to veterinary care, and we had such a need, for our animals. And in order to adopt them, they need to be spayed and neutered. So there's all these kind of things that we have to meet and comply with before we can put them into homes or foster homes. And without our own shelter medicine team here, we wouldn't be able to do the work that we're doing.
Yeah, you would have had to just stop everything. I
Yes.
hadn't even thought about
Yeah,
that.
we were
Amazing.
very, very limited.
Yeah.
And even and now having this space too, because veterinary care is there's a high burden, there's a high demand for that right now, and a lot of private offices are struggling with that. They're not able to meet all of that demand. And so with our adoption, the first 2 weeks post-adoption has always been a window that we provide services if people would like them, that they can come back to us if they have a cold or something like that going on with the pet. And in the past, that was a very tiny percentage of folks that would take advantage of that. Most of them would prefer to go see their own vet and didn't want to put that extra kind of burden on the shelter's resources. But now, because so many people can't get an appointment to see their pet, we're seeing, we've seen probably over 400 post-adoption cases in this year versus 50 or less in our normal time. So that's been a huge difference and a huge service we've been able to provide, having this veterinary suite.
Yeah.
We can do dentals here. Before, it would take us sometimes up to 3 months to get a dental appointment. So you have an animal that's kind of in limbo or waiting, and now we can do it right here. Alex can look at the animal while he's doing surgery and clean their teeth and do extractions and all of that kind of stuff at the same time. So it's a huge, huge impact on our ability to serve and care for these guys.
Yeah. Does Hugsy
Speaking
or
of
and or
guys.
Snugsy? Is this Hugsy or
That's
Snugsy?
Hugsy.
Hugsy? Does she want to come on for
Can we see
a minute?
her? Hugsy, come
What a
here.
good girl.
Come here. Come here.
Hugsy!
Oh my goodness.
You can make it around. It's okay.
All right,
why
introduce
is
us
there
to Hugsy, please.
All right, so this is Hugsy. She's about 11 months old. We've got her down as a Dane mix. She's a big girl, definitely, at 11 months. Came to us from Texas, our Texas partner. Great people down in Houston. She loves to give hugs. She lives up to her name, 100%.
She'll jump up on you.
Yeah.
Can we get a hug? Can we get a hug? Come here. Am I just scary?
She's either up on your shoulders or she's down on the floor wiggling around.
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So she's
And big paws.
Yeah,
And she's probably a little unsure about the cat smell.
Oh, yeah, really.
You saw what that is? Oh, she's
Yeah.
very sweet. Maybe
She
I
is
need another
very
dog
sweet.
too. What do you think? Would you love Ruby? Would you love Ruby? I think you would. She seems really sweet.
She's super sweet.
Yeah, and kind of, mellow. Maybe not.
She actually seems to be relatively mellow, yes. So
Yeah.
I never say never,
Yeah.
but yes, she's a calmer type.
And
she
how-
certainly enjoys playing, but
Yeah.
she's not off the wall.
So how's the process work, Neva? If someone's interested in hanging out with Hugsy for a little bit.
Yeah, so there's two options. Folks that can't come when we're open or, again, are not comfortable with coming into a public place right now can fill out an application online. Folks that want to come in person, and want to see what we have for animals. Some folks don't want to fill out an application unless they've had the opportunity themselves to come and look at an animal, are welcome to come when we're open during our regular operating hours. So, like today, we're open 1 to 5, and then we also do by appointment evening adoption visits on Wednesdays and Thursday evenings.
Oh.
I have questions about, because Kentucky's on my mind.
Yeah.
How does it work with, shelters around the country when there's a disaster and clearly animals need support? Do you have a relationship?
So yeah, it depends. I mean, there are some national organizations that, Humane and United States Humane Association. There are groups that will coordinate and work, and then there's also smaller sort of relationships that you have with rescues. There are certain requirements that we all have to meet in order to bring animals into Massachusetts. So we tend to, for the most part, work with our existing partners. And they are down south, so a lot of times what we can do is we can take animals that they have in their care, and then they are able to take in displaced animals more locally, which gives the opportunity for owners to step forward and claim their pets. So that's what a lot of organizations have moved. With Katrina, we all learned a very important lesson to not just massively move those animals out of those areas, that the goal is really to move the animals that are in the shelters already and already looking for homes out, so that the shelters locally have space to take in the animals that are displaced. It gives the owners and families an opportunity and time in that recovery window. Sometimes they can't get back to their property for days, or maybe they don't have access to the internet or a phone, and they're trying to find their pet. It gives them that opportunity to reclaim their lost pets.
Oh,
So that's
interesting.
it's really important.
That's really important. So, and what about the relationship with Puerto Rico? This is what I wanted. So you get a lot of dogs from Puerto Rico, including my Ruby, who we adore. Ruby, you would love Ruby. I think you would. I think you would. Yeah.
This sounds good. Bring her back.
Yeah, I know. What do you think? Would you like to meet Ruby? She'd love you. So what is that about? Do you just happen to have a relationship with shelters in Puerto Rico, or?
Yeah, so we have two, actually 3 rescue groups that we work with out of Puerto Rico, but we sort of have networked over the years, and like I said, it's very specific, the groups we work with, that we all have an understanding of what kind of care needs to be done first, what kind of animals can be sent up. So we work with groups in Puerto Rico, we work with groups in Florida, in Texas, in Virginia, in Georgia. We work with Turks and Caicos occasionally, and we also have worked with groups in Mississippi, in Tennessee. So it's a little bit of a variety. There, many years ago, Puerto Rico was one of our sort of primary transport partners, but over the years that's branched out to several transport partners, because there's animals in different parts of our country that are in high need, and so we're able to kind of help out in all of those different areas to varying degrees.
So it's really where you have the relationships. That it's not that these areas are just have a terrible situation.
Well, it's a
with
combination.
pets. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
those areas have terrible.
You have
hello,
things to
making your
say.
debut. Yes, she says, "Hey."
I've got stuff to
Yes,
say.
so we have a relationship with Chances in Texas, which is where Huggy came from.
Okay.
And Texas has a very severe overpopulation issue. So the areas that we're working with have overpopulation issues. That's why they're looking to transport, because they don't have enough adoptive homes for their pets locally, and unfortunately, some of them are having to needlessly euthanize animals that are friendly, are healthy, are very adoptable, and would make great family additions. So
This one
that
would be a
partnering
great
is
addition.
important.
Yeah.
And
No,
she is
it's
available.
She is. So is she
available.
online
She's
too?
posted on the website, so she's available. She's ready to go home. She's looking for her home, looking for someone.
She is really a sweet dog, and I think she gets along with cats too. Or the kittens
The
get along
kittens
with
are
her.
very interested in her.
Right.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
She said, "I don't think so. They just poked me in the nose."
Oh, we think you're just great, Hugsy. We do.
All right, we have some other.
Yeah, do we want to bring on
know,
our
there's
next
some-
guest here?
Cuteness on its way.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Oh, look out for the cameras. Look out. Oh my God.
All right, let's
Three
not do
three
that.
puppies are all between the cameras right
Let's
now.
not do that.
They don't want to leave.
And she's like, no, I want to go visit with the crew.
Oh.
Okay, come here. Here we go. We have laps. We have plenty of laps.
This is group.
You can come to me. You
These
can come
guys
to
are
me.
part of a group of 9 that just came from Texas.
Oh, can I pick this one up?
Yeah. Just be
Yeah,
careful.
do whatever
She
you have to
just
do
had
with the
surgery.
cameras.
Oh my
folks.
goodness, I'm
She's
so
good. Yeah,
sorry.
we just ask that you watch her little belly
Your
there,
tummy,
that's all.
yeah, I could feel that actually.
Guy is
Yeah, all right,
They can come on if they want.
you come here.
Another
You come here.
escapee.
Yeah, you're the one who tried to take down the camera,
we have one
right?
down here.
And that's okay. That's okay. We don't
so
mind.
that's Sam.
Sam.
And
Sam,
Jessie.
girl or boy, Sam?
Boy.
Oh, Sam.
And then Jessie's under the table. She's a little girl. And then this is Max. And the rest of their siblings are upstairs.
So did you say 9? I was too
9.
busy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a good
This
mama.
guy's sweet.
This one is adorable. She's either ready for a nap or she's ready to go home with me. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's lots of cuteness. If you're looking for a cuteness fix,
The
this is
cuteness thing
definitely
is
the place
crazy. Look at this
to
one.
visit.
Oh, she just is settled in for a hug.
Yeah.
This is
And
just
these
like-
guys, you'll notice like a theme, like Huggy, and these guys were from Texas because we recently got a Texas transport. So
Okay.
we have isolation space, and we have to schedule out our transports according to what we have available for space. Like some of our kittens here are from Florida, a group we work with down there, and then we also have some local kittens too. Yes, I see. I know.
And they look so healthy and beautiful. I mean, they just
Yeah.
look like they could be, purebreds out of
Well,
some...
their mom, we're told from the original rescue group, their mom was a purebred lab, black lab,
okay,
who was about
okay.
75 pounds. So I think these guys are going to be decent size
Yeah.
when they're
Yeah.
adults. We don't know about dad.
Yeah,
can't
that
speak to
often
Dad.
happens. Right.
Yeah.
Well, they're
Say a little
beautiful
bit.
dogs, just really beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh.
And when you are holding them in your arms, when they're kissing your face, then it's like, how can you not participate in transport? How can you not help
Exactly.
these guys?
Yeah.
And we have so many families here in New England that are looking for pets still and who want
Mm-hmm.
to welcome a rescue, that they're making a conscious decision to do that and not to purchase, that they want to save a life that's already here, and
Right.
who wasn't brought here for profit.
Right, exactly.
yeah.
No, how about, I have to ask this, Corey,
Right.
the Christmas puppy or the Christmas kitten. Is that something you encourage or don't encourage?
Right. Over the years, we've made some changes with that. It really, in the rescue community, it used to be very sort of taboo, like, oh, you don't want pets to be given as gifts. And there's still some level of that. We don't want it to be a complete surprise because even with partners, sometimes you think, oh, they would just love to have this,
Right,
and they maybe don't feel exactly the same way
Right.
when confronted with getting up at 2 a.m. for potty breaks and having furniture legs chewed on and all of the fun things that can come, or kittens climbing up the curtains.
Right.
But we do help folks with surprises to a degree. We can work with them to sort of make it, especially families with kids, sometimes they'll come in to volunteer together, and then we can make sure that everybody gets along and it's going to be a good match, and then we can complete the adoption at a later time.
Yeah. So you'd like the whole family to see
We like
the
the
pet.
whole family
Yeah.
as much as possible. We understand schedules can be difficult.
Yeah.
So if it's an animal that we know through our volunteer pool and our interactions, it has been fine with men, children, women, then we're not as pressed with that. We can make accommodations depending on people's schedules. But if it's an animal we've seen a little nervous with men or a little nervous around children, things like that, we would insist that everybody involved visit to make sure it's going to be a good match.
Right.
Sneva, let's talk about the volunteers for a bit, because I don't know how stressed the staff is. I mean, I know
sweetie.
a year
I
and
love
a
you.
half ago,
I love you,
how
Sam.
upside down things
Yeah.
were. But how have you been doing through all of this?
Yeah, well, we're hanging on.
Yeah.
Like everybody, I mean, we've evolved, we've changed routines and different procedures and things to work as best as we can with what, COVID's given all of us and the changes in society. Volunteers are very much needed. We do have, like I said, we have a really high demand, and we are one of very few shelters in our area that let people in, for regular visiting. Folks that just want to come in, see what we're doing, say thank you, and head out for their day. They just want a few minutes of cuteness. But in order to do that, we need enough humans to help them, to chat with them, and to also care for the pets. So volunteers are always in high demand. These guys take a lot of hands-on work. It takes a lot of work to clean kennels or clean cat cages, and so volunteers are greatly needed and appreciated for that. Laundry is nonstop here.
right,
You know,
yeah.
things like that you don't always think of, but folding newspapers. You know, we use a ton of newspapers in our isolation rooms for bedding and cleaning purposes. All of those kind of things. We're very dependent on volunteers. Events. A lot of our volunteers want to work here with the animals, but events are crucial for us. It's
Right.
very important for the community to know what we're doing, for us to have that outreach, for us to be able to raise the funds we need to keep doing what we're doing. So those, and fosters, we've really transitioned. I mean, during the shutdown period of COVID, we moved all of our animals out into foster homes. And since then, we found it was very successful. We do a lot of adoption out of foster, using the virtual meetings still for folks. So that's something that's really grown. We have a lot more fosters in our
great.
program than we used to. Jane's not here. I thought she was standing behind me.
She's there poking.
I was going to say, she's our community outreach coordinator, and so she's direct hands-on with our volunteer pool and recruiting our volunteers. But our website lists all of our volunteer opportunities too.
Okay.
Oh, good.
So definitely that's a great resource for people to look at. It lets you know exactly what time frames, what the tasks are. You can really get a lot of detailed information. We're also looking for volunteers for our shelter medicine team. If there's veterinary technicians or veterinarians who have a little bit of time, or students, you know, who are looking into those programs and have some basic knowledge and experience, would like to come in and help out. Shelter medicine gives you a whole different idea and picture on veterinary
Hi.
care than
Hi,
a
sweetie.
private clinic does. As I wrestle this puppy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
Ready to move on.
This one's just headed
He's like,
for my
"Yeah, I was
car.
having fun."
It's
Whoops,
like,
upside down.
we're going
Not
home.
on camera. There you go. That's better.
Aw,
That's better.
He's so cute.
So, Suneva, just to emphasize the year-end giving again, if people want to support Cape and Animal Aid, how can they go about
Oh,
doing that?
absolutely. They are welcome to come in and make a donation in person, welcome to send a donation in the mail, and they can also visit our website where we can take donations online. So all three of those giving ways are greatly appreciated and truly needed.
Can folks gift a donation? Is that possible? To gift a donation in someone's name?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, yep. You can do in honor tributes. We're happy to accommodate that. We have letters and little cards that we can send to folks. We have in memory opportunities if you want to remember somebody. We have naming opportunities in our BRIC program. So there's lots of different ways. If you are very interested in a particular program, you know, you can do a designated gift to make sure that it goes to support that program, like our Safe Harbor is what we use to get these guys here and to keep our transport coordination and program running. Our shelter medicine program is what does their veterinary care. Our general operations is what keeps all of the big picture going, as well as sort of our training and all kinds of resources. So, yeah.
And you do have your winter ball this year,
Yes,
right?
we
yeah.
do.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you've
fingers
missed
crossed.
it. Right, exactly. Yeah, so tell us about
Yeah.
that.
So we missed it last year for sure, but this year it's going to be in person. It's going to be at Danvers Port. Tickets will be on sale soon. I think they actually already are, that you can get them online. We're still available for sponsorship if you're a business or a private individual that would like to sponsor the event. There's information on our website about that, or you can give us a call, and we're happy to chat with you about those opportunities. So we're really excited, really looking forward to it. It's going to be a paradise
Yeah.
theme this year. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, we all
Oh.
need a little paradise.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've
we
been to a
do.
handful of the winter balls. They're amazing events. Oh my God, the online, the auctions items are amazing
Yeah,
to
we've-
begin with. You
Yeah.
know, and when you see all the tables lined up at Danvers Port, it's endless.
Let's go, Corey. We'll
I'm
go.
going.
We'll go this
All
year.
right,
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
count on it. We're
Very
looking
cool.
forward to having you there.
Yeah, so anything else,
definitely be
Suneva, before we let you get back to work, actually?
No, covered in puppy saliva. That's the best part. Just a thank you, really, honestly. Our community is incredibly supportive of our work, and we greatly appreciate it. We wouldn't be here, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing without them. So we're very thankful of that, and we hope people consider us again as they do their charitable giving for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you
All right,
and the staff
thank
and all that you
you.
do for the
Yeah.
community, Suneva. It's amazing.
Thank
We
you
love
so
being
much.
here.
We're thanking you too.
Yeah.
We're thanking you too.
One of these days, Suneva, we'll be outside. We'll be outdoors here in the play area.
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, in our play yards,
Yeah.
for sure.
That might be a
or
little
our
easier to capture
trails.
the chaos.
The spirit.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
a big puppy play group.
Oh,
is-
yeah.
There's nothing quite like
Oh,
it.
yeah, we'll do that from the pool, Heather. Do you ever see that? The little kiddie
We
pool
have
set
the
up?
swimming
Oh,
pools
I have not seen it. I've
outside.
seen
yeah.
it in other places, but
Yeah,
not
that'd be a
here.
good one.
Oh, that would be really fun. A hot day. What do you
All
think,
right.
Sam?
Okay, thank you,
Yeah.
Aniva.
Thank you
That's
very
Aniva
much.
Buck, the executive director at Cape Ann Animal Aid. If you want to help out, capeannanimalAid.org, and like, everything from the volunteer opportunities to the adoptable cats and dogs and
To
puppies
tickets
and
to the
kittens.
ball.
To tickets to the ball. That's all right there for you. So are we ready for Jane?
Oh,
Jane, you ready
definitely.
for us? Yeah, this is Jane Peters. She is the community outreach coordinator here at Cape Ann Animal Aid.
Hello.
Hi, Jane.
Hi.
I'm sorry I didn't
Hi.
introduce you earlier
And
when
who's
you
this
popped
one?
on
That's
with the dogs.
I actually am not sure.
Oh, that's okay. You're just cute. You're just
She's
really.
a sibling.
Yeah, you're one of
She.
yeah,
She's a
that's
sibling.
right. She was the one I picked up initially.
Yeah, she was out here earlier.
Yeah.
So Jane, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to ask what community outreach means at Cape Ann Animal Aid. You're the coordinator, right?
Yeah, so community outreach is us going out into the community. We work with local schools, with the library. We have programs. We do a reading program with the library where kids can sign up to read to the shelter animals, which is a great low-stress way for kids to be able to practice reading, gain a little bit of confidence. The dogs, can't judge you on your reading skills, so they're great to read to. And just things like that, making people aware of who we are, where we are, and what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when a child is reading to a dog, you take a puppy or a dog like Sam, who's really calm and who's willing to just sit
Yes.
and listen.
Somebody who's ready for story time to
Yeah.
be lulled. A lot of times they end up reading them to sleep, which is really nice.
Oh,
And they
that's
get
really
They
nice.
get a little break, so.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are some good stories from your community outreach work?
Complain about visiting with puppies. So,
Yeah.
I mean, all of them are really wonderful. We have gone to breweries with puppies.
Breweries. Are you ready for breweries?
I think he's underage, but that's
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, so, lots of different stuff. It's been tough with COVID. A lot of things
Yeah.
didn't
Right.
happen last year. So we're excited to be able to get back out into the community, be able to do more things. So definitely we're open to people reaching out to us if people want us to do a visit with them, local businesses, all that good stuff.
Yeah, geez, we
Spread
used
the
to
word.
do the Strawberry Festival and Fall Festival. And
Yes.
Animal Aid was like one of the biggest parts of, one of the
doing?
biggest
What you
facets of
Yeah.
those events
What you
was the adoptable puppies that were there on hand. And I believe the success rate in adoptions like nearly
100%.
100%.
Yeah, I'm
It
sure.
was
Like I
crazy.
said,
Yeah.
most people are pretty cool with having puppies, even if it's
Yeah.
just once.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we do our own events as well. So we have our rescue reunion every year
Yes,
that we
right.
host, where people can bring their dogs and meet the rescue groups that their pets came from. So
Yeah,
The
and
way-
is that
are
a
you
stage
still-
for it?
yes, usually again last
Are
year.
you still
we-
doing that?
We'll be doing it this year. Yep. Usually it's in June, so we'll be getting that together soon, hopefully.
Oh, so how do we sign up with our rescue? How do we find out that our rescue
Yeah,
litter
so it'll
is-
be on our website. We have
Okay.
a page dedicated to it, so we'll have more information on that once we get the details finalized. And you can RSVP if you're coming. It's also at Stage 4, so people can just drop by and,
Yeah.
and say hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fun because I think Ruby does have at least one sibling on Cape Ann.
Yes, we
Yeah.
have found a lot of people find their
do you
siblings through even like our Facebook pages. Sometimes they can find each other,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really fun to see siblings meet up, which is really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Kinda-
Because they
see
usually
how
know
they've
each other,
grown.
right?
I feel like they remember each other. They
Yeah,
seem like they do.
yeah.
They kind of snap right back to it.
You're waking up. Sam's waking up.
Yeah,
She's
so
like,
Jane, what's your day like?
Oh my goodness. So I work very closely with our volunteer program as well and our fosters. So coordinating with them, we have a lot of onboarding of new fosters our fosters and volunteers that we're doing right now, especially where we're expanding our hours a little bit more. So I'm usually working with new volunteers, training them upstairs. Doing our social media, posting all the fun pictures and things that we have on our Facebook page and Instagram. Yeah. all that good
so
stuff.
do you just love animals? Is that how you got into this work?
I do. They're the best. I ended up
Yeah.
with another, I've got 2 dogs from here. I am always amazed with the adopters that come in, and the volunteers are amazing. Just great people to work with and a great place to be. So it's pretty
And
great.
what's it been like for you through, I know when COVID first hit and things were pretty much shut down here
Yeah.
for a long time, but they could come on the other side of that. And then the fact that the adoption rate increased during that time. It seemed like everybody
was
and their
really
mom
nuts,
was
yeah.
going home with a pet,
For sure.
How did you handle all that?
Yeah, so I actually am a relative newbie. I've started working here right before COVID, so right as I started to really get my feet wet is when everything shut down, so everything kind of changed. So it's been kind of nice to be able to start over almost on a lot of things. It's been a good starting point. For me, I definitely learned a lot because we had to adapt.
They're thirsty. Oh.
And pivot, and I think we've done that exceptionally well, especially moving everything
Very
online.
thirsty.
When was the last time these dogs had a drink?
Thirsty work being cute.
It is. That's a good line. It's thirsty work being cute. Yeah, you really.
You do what you have to
They
do.
sell themselves, you know?
Yeah, they just do. All right, you need a little more, but your friend here is hogging
We
the
all know
cup.
what happens after we take a big drink. So.
Oh, that's true.
So Jane, any idea how many dogs and cats, puppies and kittens are in the shelter right now?
Oh my goodness, that is
Sam,
such
you-
a good
you
question.
take a little
I
sip.
think we've
Here,
got
Sam. You need your own? There you go.
Whoa!
32 dogs, 83 cats. That
32 dogs, 83 cats in their care
they're
room.
coming in all the
83
time.
cats?
Cats, yeah. If you,
Oh my
our cat room
gosh.
is very full
Yeah.
upstairs. These guys will go back up there and yeah,
Wow.
kittens. And they go fast, so it's good. You know, a
Yeah.
lot of them will find their homes
Yeah.
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
by the holidays.
Is it
which
hard,
great.
Jane? Do you
Sam,
get
let's get you
attached
down.
to certain
Let's get you down.
animals? And then,
Well,
I mean,
that's how
obviously
I
we're
ended
so
up with
happy
the
when they
second
go.
one.
Yeah,
A lot of us end up with a second one that way.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them have really great stories, and they come in, and you know, sometimes they're shy, and they really come around, or whatever it is, they really go through a lot of transformations, which is great.
really? Yeah. Well, this has been awesome.
Yeah.
Spending time with you guys today too.
Yes, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, so I guess, Jane, so for people who maybe aren't familiar with what Animal Aid does, like
Yeah.
what would you tell folks? Like maybe something they don't know about, you know, maybe some of the services you offer, or just, you know, a plea to them during the giving season as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say really the care and the time that a lot of our staff and volunteers put in to a lot of these animals is something that I think a lot of people don't really realize. A lot of these happy puppies, you know, they come in, they're pretty easygoing and they go before you know it, but there are a lot of dogs and cats that come in that need a lot of special attention and care, whether it's medical, like we talked with Alex about, or behavioral. We have a trainer that comes in and works with some of our dogs. But a lot of that is stuff that people don't realize. You know, our volunteers teach the dogs how to walk upstairs. They've never seen stairs before, or a lot of times they're resisting walking on the leashes, as we saw when these guys came in here. They're not used to that stuff.
You were
So
ready. You were ready,
we
Sam.
spend time doing all that stuff with them, and these guys are so loved before they go home. Every single one of us, all the staff, all the volunteers, you know, they love these guys before they find the people that are going to love them forever. So.
And I love the times I've been here looking for an animal, how well your team knows the animals.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone has always been able to say, well, that cat feels this way, and this dog really needs to be with another dog. So you guys really know
Yeah,
these guys.
and it's all about finding that perfect match, and they spend a lot of time learning all of those little quirks for everyone and making a good match that is going to stick. So that's what's important.
What about, are there any adult dogs or cats?
Yeah,
now? Yeah.
yeah, definitely. We get adults all the time, whether it's a surrender, you know, somebody can't care for their dog anymore, or transports. We do get adults on transports as well.
Yeah.
So always a good option too if you're looking for something a little bit maybe more low maintenance. These guys are pretty messy and they're a lot of work. So always advocate for adopting adults. If you can, and if that's something that you're looking for. A lot of times they have established personalities. You kind of know what you're getting into.
Right.
So always a bonus.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Jane, thanks so much for your time
Thanks
today.
for having me.
This has
It's
been
great.
awesome.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for all your work
Thank
in
you.
the community
We appreciate it.
and here.
Spread the word.
Yeah, we hope to be
right.
back when when the weather's a little warmer too.
Yes,
you know?
yes, that will
Yeah,
be nice.
for the
Yeah.
puppy
Run
pool.
around, really run around.
Yeah.
Hey, so Sunita, anything else? Any other guests or anything? Or
No, just a thank you again, and we really appreciate everybody's support, and we thank you guys for coming in and sharing your water with the puppies.
We love coming here.
The
We
one time
love
it's
this.
only water. We lucked
Right,
out.
I know.
I was going to say too, one of our community outreach things is we do a lot, like Jane has coordinated a lot of groups going to assisted living centers
Yes.
and
That's great.
hospitals, ERs. We went to the police station, fire
Yeah.
station, so those kind of things too. If like Jane already mentioned, if businesses or organizations think that a visit with puppies or kittens might help Their staff morale, absolutely reach out to us.
That's
And the
great.
reason we don't showcase the adults down here is that our adult population tends to be more stressed out by putting them in front of a large crowd and things like that. So it's always a bit of a catch-22 for us because we
Gotcha.
want to feature the adults,
Yeah.
but to bring the adults down here
In a
is
room like
stressful,
this,
or
yeah.
to an off-site event tends to be really stressful for them. Sometimes we have a personality that can handle it, but that's why at most of the events and things we do, you'll see our younger population, but we're hoping that inspires you to come in and visit with our adults. And
Yeah.
seniors, we do a lot of senior placement too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love the adults and seniors. They're easy,
They're
easy,
great.
easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
You know?
bargain.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
are indeed.
Well,
They've
Janice
already-
and Eva, yeah, thank you so much. This has
Thank
been
you.
great.
Thank
And
you.
so, lastly, if people want to help out Cape Ann Animal Aid, go right to the website, right? Just or visit here at Fort Paws Lane.
Yep.
Yeah,
Or send
exactly.
a check in the mail. That works too.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks so much.
very
Happy
much.
holidays.
Happy
Thanks for everything you guys do
Thank
for the
you.
community.
Thank you.
Really cool. You can keep.
Is that she's not
you want
he?
him?
Yeah. Do you want-
Sure.
I mean, you should have
Exactly.
a puppy.
Exactly. You haven't held one yet.
Right.
Keep
You can
your
meet the llama if
company.
you'd like.
Exactly.
Hey,
the
buddy.
Christmas llama. I know, Sam. You're just standing right here.
Boy.
So I think we have something special happening right now, right?
We
Corey?
do. We have one last guest.
One last guest.
We do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Becky, would you like to
Becky-
join us? Come on, Becky. This is Becky Coyle. She is our production manager.
And everyone loves Becky. The whole community knows Becky for all the hard work she puts in
Oh my God,
at
8
municipal
years.
meetings. And when you say 1623, people think of Becky. Come sit down.
Yeah.
So we want to thank you for
you.
all your hard work. And
This
what
is
a great
Becky's
job.
last show with us, which we can't believe. But yeah.
I did not know this was happening.
So
So-
Becky's actually moving to Connecticut soon, right?
Yes.
To start a
Yeah.
new life there, which is great, with her husband David, which is awesome. And so we just want to wish you luck.
Thank
And
you.
tell you how much we love you and
Me
appreciate
too.
all the work you've done for us in your time here at 1623 and Cape Ann TV back
Yep.
in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is why we ended up at Cape Ann Animal Aid for the last show.
The last
you
show,
know?
because we know how much you
Yeah.
love, particularly the kittens in the back.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
They're so cute.
Yeah. Becky and I were sort of fighting over Bean, right, in our first show that we
A
did
little
here.
bit. We both really loved
Yeah,
Bean and,
yeah.
get
Yeah.
to see her sometimes.
You do,
so-
sometimes on Zoom,
Oh,
right?
yes.
But you adopted Henry soon after that.
Hank.
Yeah, Hank, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have our own wild little kitty, and we got him from a shelter. So, yeah.
So you'll be moving to Connecticut,
Yes.
a new house, new world there, but you will be working remotely with 1623 for a little
Yes.
bit. So, but this is our last time together in person for
Yes,
a
this is
while.
our last in-person day.
Yeah.
For a while.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Jen.
Oh,
He's ice skating on the
Yeah.
papers.
yeah.
Bye, buddy.
Yeah. So Becky, what's it been like being part of the team for so many years now? You're synonymous with Cape Ann TV and 1623.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting experience because it's changed a lot so much since I've first started. I think starting in 2013, actually, so it's been quite a while just being with the organization, and it's just, I've been able to, see it grow and change and, change the name, move the location, seeing, some of our members have been on this whole time, and we've seen new members come on and go and all sorts of stuff. So it's been a really great experience. I've been growing this whole time, making new relationships, really learning the community, 8 years of graduations, 8 years of Memorial Day parades, 8 years of holidays,
Never-ending municipal meetings.
Oh, yes, all that. So
Yeah, you know all the players. I mean, Verga should put you on his team because you know it all, right?
yeah, I need to know who to contact when we want to get in this place or that place, or I know how to get in here. We go around the back, and I've been here before,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's been a great experience, and I've made so many great relationships, and there's a real sense of community in this community and in our organization and everything.
Yeah. So now what's next for you? We know you're moving down to Connecticut.
Right?
And this is where your husband's family is from, and you already
Yep.
have sort of things established there already, which is good,
Kind
so
of.
an easy transition for you.
It should be an easy transition. I think we're just mostly looking forward to, being in our first house. It's going to be a really big upgrade from our, apartment living. And then just getting in there and doing some painting and
And first Christmas in your first house.
yeah,
That's
right
exciting.
before Christmas, we're hoping to get a tree.
Yeah.
See if there's any left.
Right, exactly.
Get
Christmas
down there.
Eve, yeah.
And then it's probably just settling in and getting, used to like being in a home and putting down those kind of roots in that community. And
Yeah.
it'll be great to have family close by too. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Then
very
water.
exciting.
Well,
wants to
I
play
know
around.
that when it sort of has come up that you're leaving in the community, people are devastated. They're like, what? What? Becky can't leave? She's the face of 1623 Studios.
Yeah,
She-
and she still will be with us remotely,
Yes,
but just
right.
won't be with us on hand anymore or lugging equipment back and forth from
Right,
town
right.
hall, city hall, yeah, you name it.
Yeah.
Yep, anywhere. I've lugged equipment in and out of so many places,
Yeah.
like so many times.
Yeah.
But still, still be involved and still be involved remotely, available by phone and email, which is a lot of what I do anyway. Making phone calls, emailing, checking in, confirming things. all
Yeah,
that.
we'll be zooming.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So looking back at your 8 years here, are there any particular events or anything that have stood out to you, or favorites?
Favorites? There's just been so much, and each thing has kind of been everything's kind of unique. Each different assignment that there's been. Early when we first started, we were doing some
What's the matter?
Artist of the Month interviews, and I got to interview one particular Artist of the Month at the Sorry for Your Library in their Matt's Gallery, right in
Yes.
the front.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple years later, I'd find out that the artist had passed, and they told me they had played her video at her service.
Oh,
And I
geez.
was like, wow. Like, usually just like, okay, just highlight this, highlight that onto the next thing. And then it was like, some of these things make a lasting impact. And, just kind of knowing that and moving forward, just, really trying to give kind of everything the special treatment. When I'm out on an assignment, like, okay, make it good, make it nice. You never know who's watching, how special this is to somebody who's involved. If we're out at, a ceremony or something, it's like, okay, so maybe this is really important to some community member, if they're involved in the schools, if they're involved in, remembering somebody or something. So you never kind of know where the impact is going to be made. So just try and, do it really nice, make it special. Just putting that extra touch on everything, just trying to do that. And everything has its own unique, specialness to it.
Right,
Just trying to
right.
like highlight that with the program.
Yeah.
That's a great description of community TV, too. That's really beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
and what it can do, the power that it can have. Yeah.
And I hope you know how much you mean to the team here too. But like Heather was saying earlier, we've been hearing it a lot in the last couple of months when people started to hear, okay, we think Becky might be moving on, or oh, we heard she found a house, and they're stunned because they're just so used to you always being there for all these events. Like you were that go-to person for so long. So it says a lot about you and your work ethic and your connection with the community here too. So we just really appreciate everything you've done for us, and we're so happy about the next phase of your life.
I know, it's kind of like the bittersweet transition. Like I'm so happy to be, going into a house and everything, but it's, kind of like, okay, the next chapter means kind of, moving on to other things, and it's great to still be involved in the remote capacity, but just, kind of, I'm going to miss, being in person, being the one there, setting things up, saying hi to everyone, when we're at a shoot or when we're wrapping up a shoot or something, and, that sort of thing. So, bittersweet transitions, but it's kind of like those are like the growing pains, So,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Have you already found the animal shelter in the new town you're going to be part of?
not yet.
Beware
There's like
kittens of Connecticut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if our cat would tolerate too many other friends, but and he
Oh.
keeps us busy.
Yeah.
Our little
Yeah.
cat Hank, he's a year and a half, and he is pretty wild.
Yeah.
100% all the time.
Yeah. Focus on Hank right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Not one of these guys. Don't do it.
Well, after the show, I'll probably try and pet them a little bit, hang out with them, you know.
No.
Yeah, this is where the trouble happens.
Yeah,
The two of you.
scare Dave into thinking of bringing them all home. Like, look who I found.
I thought I saw Dave in the parking lot. I was like, oh, he's going to make sure she doesn't take a kitten home.
Yeah, he's here just like, no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Becky, and congratulations again.
you.
And have a great holiday. We'll be hanging out afterwards anyway, but
yeah.
we just wanted to be able to share that with the audience today.
Well, thank you.
So yeah, thank you so much. Okay,
Thank
Heather.
Thank you for everything.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, from Four Paws Lane to Cape Ann Animal Aid. We want to emphasize again that it is the year-end giving season. If you want to help out, just visit Animal Aid at Four Paws Lane over in West Gloucester, right behind the Beachbrook Cemetery, or you can look online at capeannanimal.org. They have a huge Facebook page too, and a social media presence in general, so you can find them there as well. And they are looking for volunteers. I was surprised that they're looking for that many volunteers with a lot of duties. So it's great.
And they're all listed on the website.
They
if
are.
you want to be specific about your volunteering efforts.
Yes. I might have lost my
The thank you
sheet,
page?
my thank you page.
Well,
Oh no, wait, it's here. It's here. It's here. Yeah.
I
so
think a puppy got involved with that.
we did.
Yeah.
We do want to thank our crew as always. This is going to be our last show for 2021, obviously, and who knows when we're going to return. In January. We know we're going to be covering Inauguration Day for you from Gloucester City Hall
right.
on Saturday, January 1st, and then hopefully Cape Ann Today Live resumes shortly thereafter. We'll keep you posted on that.
In breakfast and coffee places all over Cape Ann.
I'm in.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm easy.
Pancakes, coffee, donuts.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so our crew, we want to thank David Lufkin on camera as always. Thank you, David. Great job. Another great year under your belt. Our floor manager, Alana Horn. Alana, thanks for everything. And whiteboard specialist. Ready for this? You want to try this, Heather?
Yes. We would like to thank today a very special visit from Tyler Merzensen.
No, Horinzen.
Horinzen.
That's an M.
Yeah.
Horenzen.
Horinzen. Tyler Horinzen. Helped us out on camera
Yeah.
today. Thank you, buddy. Have a great holiday season.
He's got a fancy name.
Yeah. Our technical director, Matt McMakin. He's over there behind the monitors, behind the table as always. Great job, buddy. Our executive director, Eric Archer, is back at the studios on 11 Pleasant Street. And of course, our production manager is Becky Coyle. Thank you, Becky. Congratulations
Becky.
once again.
Thank you so much.
All right, Heather, happy holidays.
Are we
We'll
going
be
to thank
hanging
Cape Ann
out.
Animal Aid for
course
having
we
us
are.
here? Yeah, so thank you to Cape Ann Animal Aid for having us here and allowing us all this love and cuddles and cuteness.
Yeah, it's not over. The camera will be off, but then the real work happens. So it'll be a lot of fun. So, okay. Thanks for watching, folks. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We will see you on the other side. From all of us at 1623 Studios, have a great holiday season. Goodbye for now.